So those are the three terms that come under step number 2. Now moving on to step number 4, which is where we were creating contingency strategies, because in step number 3, we implemented some preventive controls. That is correct. However, problems can still happen. Things can still go wrong. So in that case, how do we recover when problems still go wrong? That comes under step number 4. And these are some terms which are related with recovering, with recovery step. Okay. So first one is MTBF. What does it mean? MTBF stands for mean time between failures. So what exactly is it? It is the estimated lifespan of a piece of equipment. So in any company, there are thousands and thousands of systems, right? And devices. They have routers, switches, firewalls, cables, laptops, workstations, servers. So at some point, those devices are going to fail, right? So because every device has a limited lifespan. So that is what MTBF is about, mean time between failures. That is what is the estimated lifespan of a particular piece of equipment. When does it need to be replaced? So if you purchase a server, for example, from a company, then when can you expect to replace it so that you can plan accordingly? All right. And how do you arrive at this figure of MTBF? This is calculated by the equipment vendor or third party. So for example, if you purchase a server from HP or maybe from some other company, then it is that company which will give you the MTBF for their servers or for their equipment, or maybe some third party. Okay. Now it does not mean that you have to replace those devices at the end of MTBF, and it does not mean that the device will definitely fail at the end of MTBF. It is just an estimated lifespan. All right. So if you have, for example, 1,000 servers, then at least some servers will fail within that given MTBF, right? So it helps you plan replacement of the devices. That is the purpose of MTBF, mean time between failures. All right. The next term is MTTR, which stands for mean time to repair, which is how much time on an average does it take to get a device fixed in case something goes wrong with it, and then to put it back in production. So if one of the switches, for example, were to go down, or if a server were to go down, or if a module in a server were to go down, and if you were to send it to the vendor for repairing, or maybe for any other purpose, then when can you expect the device to get fixed and then come back into production? That is what MTTR is about. Okay. Now, talking of recovery, let's talk about some alternate processing sites. So what are the different options that we have when it comes to various processing sites? So first one is hot site. So if your primary site is unavailable and you have to, if you have to relocate to a different site to resume your operations, one of the options is hot site. So what is a hot site? Hot site is a site that is fully configured and it is ready to operate within a few hours. So everything that you need in a site to function, it is already there and it is already functioning. So you have all of the computers, all of the servers, the connectivity, cables, air conditioning, benches, desks, chairs, communication lines, power, everything is already there. You just have to go there with your people and with your data, and you can start to function within a few hours, right? That is why it is called a hot site. It is hot and ready to go. So it has got everything except data and people. And as you can expect, because it has got everything ready and configured and ready to go, it is the most expensive of the options as well. Okay. But of course, if your business requires it, then it is one of the options that you can consider. Then the second one is warm site. So warm site is not really a hot site. It's a warm site. It is slightly warm, right? So what is it? It is a site that is partially configured with some systems and peripheral devices, but not computers. So it has got some systems there. For example, it can have desks, it can have chairs, it can have printers, it can have cables, and maybe some connectivity, internet connectivity, air conditioning. But you have to go there with your own systems, with your own computers and your people, of course, right? So it is there, and most of the things are there, but you still need to go there with your own systems to get up and running. Now, when would you go with a warm site as opposed to a hot site? It is a good choice for companies that depend on proprietary or customized or some unusual hardware or software, which is not easily available. So if you have some special proprietary software, then you just want a facility that is there with all of the printers and communication lines, air conditioning, desks, chairs. And then once your primary site is down, then you can go there with your own proprietary software or maybe hardware and start to work. So that is an example of warm site. Okay. Then the next site is cold site. A cold site is a site that has only basic facilities like air conditioning, plumbing, wiring, desks, flooring, racks, etc. Okay, it has got very basic facilities, as it says here, like air conditioning, plumbing, wiring, desks. So you have basically a facility, a place where you can go and then you can start to set it up. So it has got those basic things like air conditioning, power, connectivity, those kind of things. And then you have to go there and then you have to set up your own equipment because it doesn't have any additional equipment there. Okay, and it can take a few weeks depending on how big your organization is or how many systems you need to take there to get the site up and running. So that's cold site for you. Next option that we have is called a mobile site. What is a mobile site? It's a large truck or a trailer that you convert into a data processing or a working area. So you take a large truck, and at the back of that large truck or a trailer, you put all of your systems, and then you convert it into your mini data center, if you will. Okay. And the benefit is that you can drive it wherever required. It's not at a fixed location, and it has the necessary power, telecommunications, and resources to get started in a quick time. So if required, this option can also be considered. And then we also have the option of cloud. I don't have to explain what cloud is. So if required, you can also take the services of a cloud provider, where once your primary site is down, then the cloud provider can be used as a backup for your site. Okay. And then the last option that we have here is reciprocal agreements, or MAAs. MAAs stand for mutually acceptable agreements, if I remember right. I think that is what it means. Yeah, I should have put the full form here. I'm sorry for that. I forgot it. So reciprocal agreements, or MAAs, what exactly are those? What do we mean by reciprocal agreements? So in reciprocal agreements, two companies enter into an agreement with each other saying that if my company or if my facility is not available for any reason, I can come into your facility and start to operate from there, and vice versa. Okay, so it is an agreement, as it says here. It is an agreement between two companies that one company can use the facility and resources of the other company in case of a disaster. And it is suitable for very specific businesses. For example, if you have a newspaper printing business and you need very specific type of machinery to print the newspapers or magazines or anything else that is not available easily, in that case you would want to enter into a reciprocal agreement with your competitor, for example, right? So you can go there and print the newspapers or whatever it is at that time. So it is suitable for very specific business cases which are dependent on very specific machinery or equipment. Okay. But one downside and one thing to remember about these agreements for the exam as well is that these agreements are not legally enforceable. So yes, you may enter into an agreement with another company saying that, hey, if something happens to my facility, I can come into your company and start to work from there. But if a disaster were to happen, then the other company has all the right to say that, hey, yes, we did agree about it earlier, but as of now, maybe I'm just too occupied. We have a lot of staff and we just don't have the capacity to let your staff come into our company and do the work. So it is not legally enforceable. That is one challenge, but this is an option. Okay.